When Marissa Clark was fired, it wasn't behind closed doors. It wasn't a private conversation in HR with sympathetic nods and a severance envelope slid across a desk. It was in front of the entire marketing department at Weston and Hall on the 14th floor in the glass-walled conference room, everyone called the fishbowl, because everything that happened inside was visible to the whole office. It was 2:47 p.m. on a Thursday. Marissa had been at her desk, reviewing client briefs, when Gregory Shaw's assistant appeared beside her like a ghost. "Greg needs you in conference room A. Now." No context, no warning. Marissa grabbed her tablet and followed, heels clicking on polished marble floors. She didn't know yet that she'd never sit at that desk again. When she walked into the fishbowl, 23 pairs of eyes were already staring. Her entire team, the junior designers, the copywriters, the account managers, even Bethany from reception, who had no reason to be there except to witness. Gregory Shaw stood at the head of the table, mid-50s, silver hair, expensive suit, the kind of man who smiled with his mouth but never his eyes. "Marissa," he said, voice smooth as poison. "Thanks for joining us." She stood frozen in the doorway. "I'll make this quick," Greg continued. "The Apex campaign launched this morning. As you all know, it was a disaster." Murmurs rippled through the room. Marissa's stomach dropped. The Apex campaign, 6 months of work. A luxury watch brand. Elegant, timeless, aspirational. She'd poured everything into that pitch. Late nights, weekends, iterations, revisions, but Greg had taken her original concept, Phoenix Rising, rebirth of elegance, stripped her name off it, rebranded it as Apex Ascension, and claimed it as his own. She'd said nothing. You don't challenge a senior VP, not if you want to keep your job. But now, standing in that room, she realized her silence hadn't saved her. "The client pulled out this morning," Greg said, his voice cold. "Called the campaign uninspired. Said it lacked vision." He paused. Let the words hang. Then he looked directly at Marissa. They specifically mentioned that the lead strategist seemed disconnected from the brand's values. Her breath caught. "Wait, Marissa, you were lead on this project. The failure is yours." "That's not." She stepped forward, hands trembling. "Greg, you changed the entire concept. I told you the Apex angle was too aggressive for their demographic. Are you seriously trying to blame me?" His voice sharpened. The room went dead silent. "I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying the original pitch was different. The Phoenix campaign. I have notes. I have enough." He held up a hand. "This is exactly the problem, Marissa. No accountability, no professionalism." He turned to the room. "Let this be a lesson to all of you. In this business, you own your failures. You don't make excuses." Then he looked back at her. "Marissa Clark, effective immediately. You're terminated. Security will escort you out." The room blurred. Someone gasped. Marissa heard her own heartbeat in her ears. "You can't. I can. And I just did." 2 security guards appeared at the door. One of them was Tony, who'd worked the front desk for 8 years, who always said, "Good morning," who looked at her now with pity and shame. "Pack it later," Greg said, voice dismissive. "We need your desk cleared by noon tomorrow. You're a distraction." Laughter, soft, cruel, from someone in the back of the room. Marissa didn't see who, but she felt it. Pitying glances, averted eyes. Bethany typing something on her phone, probably already texting the gossip to the entire building. Marissa turned, walked out. The guards didn't touch her. They just followed, through the open office, past her desk, past the people she'd worked with for 4 years. No one said a word. No, One stood up. No one defended her. She grabbed her purse, left her mug, left her notebooks, left the framed photo of her and her late mother, and she walked out of Weston and Hall with nothing but humiliation burning in her chest. The first week was the worst. Marissa didn't leave her apartment. She ordered takeout. She didn't eat. She scrolled through job boards without applying. She ignored calls from her sister, from her two closest friends, from her landlord asking about next month's rent. She replayed the firing in her head, over and over, the laughter, the silence, the way Greg had looked at her like she was nothing. She checked LinkedIn obsessively. Her profile views spiked. People were looking, but no one was reaching out. Then the messages started. Hey Marissa, heard what happened. Rough break. Let me know if you need anything. Translation. I'm not helping, but I want to seem nice. Sorry about Weston and Hall. Greg. Can be tough. You'll land somewhere. Translation. This is your fault. Marissa, just FYI. I heard some things. People are saying you got fired for stealing credit on the Apex campaign. Just thought you should know. Her blood went cold. Stealing credit. Greg was spinning the story, making her the villain. She tried to fight it, tried to correct people, but the damage was done. In the industry, a rumor moves faster than truth, and Gregory Shaw had a very loud voice. By week 3, Marissa had burned through her savings. She applied to 47 jobs, got 3 interviews. All of them went the same way. We loved your portfolio, but we spoke to a reference at Weston and Hall, and, well, we're going to pass. Greg had blacklisted her. One night she sat on her apartment floor, bills spread around her like confetti, and thought, this is it, I'm done. She wasn't suicidal, but she was empty, like someone had scooped out the part of her that used to believe in things, in fairness, in effort, in herself. She stared at the wall, and that's when she remembered. The key. It had happened on the day she was fired. Right after, the security guards walked her out, right as she was standing on the sidewalk outside Weston and Hall, holding her purse, shaking, trying not to cry in public. An old man had approached her, Mr. Ellis, the janitor. He'd worked at Weston and Hall for over 30 years. Quiet, invisible to most people, but Marissa had always noticed him. She'd always said good morning, asked how he was, remembered his name. On that day, he'd walked up to her with a small brass key in his hand. Miss Clark, he'd said softly. She'd looked up, eyes red. I think you might need this. He'd pressed the key into her palm. What is it? Storage room, 12th floor. Been locked for years. But I think it's time someone opened it. She'd stared at him, confused. Why? He'd smiled. Sad. Knowing. Because people like you don't stay down forever. Then he'd walked away. She'd put the key in her purse and forgotten about it until now. Marissa went back to Weston and Hall at 11 p.m. on a Saturday. The building was nearly empty, just a few weekend warriors and the overnight cleaning crew. She still had her access card. HR hadn't deactivated it yet. She swiped in, took the elevator to the 12th floor. The hallway was dark, unused. She found the storage room at the end of the hall, unmarked, forgotten. She slid the brass key into the lock. It turned. The door opened. Inside, dust, old furniture, stacks of boxes, labeled with years that didn't matter anymore. Marissa stepped in, phone flashlight cutting through the darkness. And then she saw it, a whiteboard, leaning against the back wall. She walked closer. Her breath stopped. It was covered, in her handwriting, Phoenix Rising Campaign, Rebirth, Elegance, Timelessness, Sketches, Taglines, Mood boards. This was her original pitch. The one she'd worked on late at night, months ago, in this very room, when she needed space to think. The one Greg had walked in on. The one he'd photographed with his phone and said, "Interesting, keep working on it." The one he'd stolen. Marissa's hands shook. She opened the boxes. Inside, her notebooks, her tablets, USB drives, voice memos, drafts, everything, all the proof she needed. She sat down on the dusty floor and started going through it. By 3 a.m., she had everything documented. Timestamps, file metadata, email drafts saved to old servers. Greg hadn't just stolen her idea. He'd stripped it, rebranded it, filed it as his own intellectual property within the company system, and then blamed her when it failed. She had proof. She could destroy him, but Marissa didn't go to HR. She didn't go to a lawyer. Because she realized something sitting in that storage room, surrounded by the remnants of her stolen work. She didn't want justice. She wanted to win. And winning wasn't about exposing Greg. It was about becoming untouchable. She spent the next 2 days thinking. Then she made a decision. She wasn't going to beg for her job back. She was going to build something he could never take from her. She was going to start her own firm. It was insane. She had $3,200 in her bank account. No investors, no clients, no office. But she had the Phoenix campaign, the real one. And she had nothing left to lose. She cashed out her 401k, took the penalty, $18,000. She maxed out 2 credit cards, $25,000. She sold her car, $4,500. She moved out of her apartment and into her best friend, Jenna's spare room. Total capital, $50,700. She registered a business, Phoenix Rising Media. She built a website in 3 days. She cold called every contact she'd ever made, and she rewrote the Phoenix campaign from scratch. Better, sharper, bolder. Then she did something crazy. She reached out to Apex Watches, the client Greg had lost. The email was simple. Subject: the campaign you deserved. Mr. Tanaka, my name is Marissa Clark. I was the original strategist behind the Phoenix Rising campaign that Weston and Hall presented to you as Apex Ascension. What you saw was a diluted, rebranded version that missed the mark. I'm writing to show you what it was supposed to be. No obligation, just 15 minutes of your time. Best, Marissa Clark founder. Phoenix Rising Media. She hit send at 11:47 p.m. and didn't sleep. The next morning, her phone buzzed. Miss Clark, I'm intrigued. Let's talk. Tuesday, 10 a.m., my office. She almost screamed. The meeting was in Manhattan, a sleek office overlooking Central Park. Marissa wore the only suit she owned, navy blue, freshly dry cleaned. She walked in with a tablet, a printed deck, and every ounce of confidence she could fake. Kenji Tanaka, CEO of Apex Watches, was younger than she expected. Early 40s, sharp, no nonsense. You have 15 minutes, he said. She used 12. She showed him the original Phoenix concept. The narrative. A watch isn't about time. It's about legacy. It's about rising from who you were to who you're becoming. Visuals. Clean. Elegant. Timeless. Tagline. Every second is a rebirth. When she finished, the room was silent. Tanaka leaned back. This, he said slowly, is what I wanted 6 months ago. Marissa's heart pounded. Why didn't Weston and Hall show me this? Because they didn't create it. I did. And they took it, changed it, and claimed it. Tanaka studied her. You're telling me Gregory Shaw stole your work. I'm telling you I have documentation, timestamps, drafts, voice memos, all of it. He smiled. Thin, sharp. Miss Clark, I don't care about your drama with Weston and Hall. Her stomach dropped. But I do care about good work. And this is exceptional. He stood, extended his hand. I'll give you the contract. 6 months. Campaign. Full creative control. But I want results. Marissa shook his hand, trying not to cry. You'll have them. The Apex campaign launched 3 months later. It was beautiful. Cinematic videos, print ads in GQ, and Vanity Fair. A social media strategy that went viral. Within 2 weeks, Apex watches saw a 34% increase in sales. Within a month, Marissa's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Other brands wanted in. She landed a skincare line, then a boutique hotel chain, then a tech startup. She hired her first employee, then 3 more, then 10. She rented an office, small, but hers. She worked 18-hour days, lived on coffee and adrenaline. But for the first time in months, she felt alive. 6 months in, she got a call from an investor. Marcus Vance, founder of Vanguard Ventures. Miss Clark, I've been watching your work. I want to invest. I'm not looking for investors. You should be. I'm offering $2 million for 20% equity. She nearly dropped the phone. Why? Because you're going to be bigger than Weston and Hall. And I want in early. She took the deal. By the end of year 1, Phoenix Rising Media had 14 clients and $8 million in revenue. By year 2, she had 40 employees and opened a second office. By year 3, she was being featured in Forbes, Fast Company, and Adweek. And Gregory Shaw was watching. Marissa didn't go after Greg right away. She waited, she built, she strategized, she became undeniable. And then, in year 4, she made her move. She bought Harper & Stone, Weston and Hall's biggest competitor. It cost her $47 million. She did it quietly, through a shell company, so no one knew it was her. Then she poached Weston and Hall's 3 largest clients. Legally, ethically, she just offered better work. Revenue at Weston and Hall dropped 22%. The board started asking questions. Greg started sweating, and then Marissa did the unthinkable. She bought Weston and Hall. The company was struggling, stock prices down, reputation damaged. The board was desperate. Marissa's investment group offered $89 million. The board accepted, and on a cold Tuesday morning in November, Marissa Clark walked into Weston and Hall. Not as an employee, as the owner. Gregory Shaw was still in his corner office, still sitting behind that massive desk, still wearing expensive suits and thinking he was untouchable. Marissa didn't knock. She walked in. He looked up, blinked. Marissa, she smiled. Cold, controlled. It's Miss Clark now. Or, if you prefer, CEO. His face went pale. What are you talking about? She dropped a folder on his desk. Weston and Hall was acquired this morning by Vanguard Phoenix Group. My company. Opened the folder. Read the documents. His hands started shaking. You can't. I can. And I did. She leaned on his desk. You're terminated, Gregory. Effective immediately. He laughed. Hollow. Desperate. You're joking. Do I look like I'm joking? He stood. Tried to regain control. You can't just fire me. I have a contract. You have nothing, she said. Your contract has a morality clause. Theft of intellectual property, fraud, retaliation. She pulled out another document. I have proof you stole the Phoenix campaign. I have emails, timestamps, metadata. And I have 3 former employees willing to testify that you've done this before. His jaw clenched. This is revenge. No, Marissa said, "This is business." 2 security guards appeared at the door. "Security will escort you out," Marissa said. "You can pack your things later. We need your desk cleared by noon." His face twisted. "You're making a mistake." She turned toward the door. Paused. "No, Gregory. You made the mistake. 4 years ago, when you thought I wouldn't fight back." She walked out, heels clicking, just like his laughter once did. That evening, Marissa went back to the 12th floor, to the storage room. It was empty now, cleaned out, but Mr. Ellis was there, still mopping, still quiet. "Mr. Ellis," she said softly. He looked up, smiled. "Miss Clark. Or should I say CEO?" She laughed, pulled the brass key from her pocket. "I kept it. I thought you might." She stepped closer. "Why did you give it to me?" That day, he set down his mop, looked at her with kind, tired eyes. "Because you were the only one who ever saw me," he said. "In 4 years, you were the only person who said good morning, who asked about my day, who remembered my name." Her throat tightened. "People like you," he continued, "they don't stay down for long. I knew you'd rise. I just wanted to give you a place to start." She hugged him. He hugged back. "Thank you," she whispered. "No," he said. "Thank you." 5 years later, Phoenix Rising Media is a global agency. Offices in New York, Los Angeles, London, Tokyo. Over 300 employees, $200 million in annual revenue. Marissa Clark is on the cover of Time magazine. The Phoenix CEO. How Marissa Clark built an empire from ashes. She's invited to speak at Harvard, at TEDx, at the UN. But her favorite moment, it's still the small ones, like when she walks through her office and knows every single employee's name. Like when she mentors young women who've been fired, stolen from, silenced. Like when she funds scholarships for people who can't afford to rise on their own. And once a year, on the anniversary of the day she was fired, she goes back to Weston and Hall, not to glow, but to remember, to stand in that glass conference room where it all fell apart, and to whisper to herself, "You survived, you rose, you won, from grass to grace, no, from ashes to empire." Marissa Clark didn't just rise. She set the whole damn forest on fire and built a kingdom from the flames. Have you ever been fired unfairly? Stolen from, silenced? Drop your story below. No judgment, just truth. Because sometimes, the people they tried to bury, we were seeds all along. Comment, share, subscribe. This is for everyone who's ever been told they were done. You're not, you're just getting started.